What is good, friends, and welcome back. We're exactly a week in since update 8.0 went live, and it is a stinker. I was away when the update got live, so I couldn't comment on it. I couldn't test it, experience, and express my feedback. But now I can, and today FUBAR will collaborate with me as he got some interesting points to share with you. FUBAR, say hello.
Hello, everybody. Glad to be back.
Awesome. I remember the last Fiasco update, which was the 2.0 update. That that made a huge stink in the Warpath community. Everybody was unhappy, but at least everybody was on the same boat. It didn't forge the gap between the free to play and the pay to win player. Version 8.0 does exactly the opposite. I mean, everybody had high hope for this update as it was hyped a lot by Warpath, especially the super weapons. Nobody asked for the super weapons, but I remember that a few players on the developer feedback room they request that the capture village would defend the bases, would do something to help your alliance get some protection. Lilith listened to us, kind of, and introduced the Titan and the Skyfortress. Unfortunately, it didn't have the desired effect as 99% of you. I cannot say 100%, but so far I didn't hear any positive feedback about this update. Did you hear anything positive about it, Fubar?
No, but as I was looking at the update, and I even posted my own video on it, um, and I looked back at it. The Titans are acting as I feel they should. There is some limitation with the Titans. I feel the majority of the issue is with the Sky Fortresses. I'm gonna point out my issues with the Titans before we ever start talking about the Sky Fortress.
All right.
That I feel the Titans were designed to be utilized in strategic points of terrain, such as mountain passes, sand dunes, and bridges. However, I believe a lot of people hating on the Titan is because they're not utilizing it correctly because it's a new feature. However, I do feel the Titan should auto attack any rally that enters in its area. That's my feedback.
I'm gonna give you my feedback, what I think about this after testing and play a little bit about them. First of all, let's talk about the visual aspect of those Sky Fortress. I'm gonna leave the Titan alone because, in my opinion, I think it looks beautiful. It's well made. It's accurate. I like it. I have no complaint about that. So this video is not about bitching Lilith or anything. It's just to give our feedback. But the Titan so far, I'm okay with it. The problem I have with the Sky Fortress is, first of all, it looks awful. It looks like something from a sci-fi movie. Looks like a spaceship. I understand that it was based on some prototype that never went into production, but maybe it would make sense if the Sky Fortress was released while we were still in the legacy unit. However, we are now in the modern unit, and this visual look, this visual of the Sky Fortress have no business to do with this game. It looks wrong. I mean, all the graphic design team from Lilith work super hard to give us accurate rendering of units. I mean, so far everything is pretty accurate, but the Sky Fortress, dude, I'm very disappointed about the look. And fun fact, September 2022, VIP support sent me a message saying, "Hey, look, we have some rendering to show you. Can you give me your? Can we get your feedback?" So they show me 4 renderings. I will not show them to you. They asked me not to release it, but however, I'll show you. I'll share with you my feedback. And basically, what I wrote is, all of them they look awful. 0 out of 10. Do not put them in the game. And they went forward to put those in the game despite my feedback. Listen, Lilith doesn't rely on my feedback alone, but I don't think that nobody ever agreed on those drawings. They look awful. Second of all, the way they move is ridiculous. I mean, they go forward, they stop, they hover, they attack, and they just turn around and come back to base. There's no airplane that does that. All right, okay, the F-35 does that, the Harrier does that, but besides that, I don't know any airplane that behave like this. It doesn't even loiter around or fly around. It just goes in and goes out, just like I don't know, like it was designed by 14 years old. It kills the visual aspect of the game. All the units behave like the real units on the battlefield, but the Skyfortress, I'm sorry, it's a no-go for me. It looks like a second thought, half-ass made. I hate it. What do you think about it?
I actually think that the Sky Fortress was accurately represented as the prototype from the images I've seen and looked up online. However, they did do some embellishments on it, like the rocket engines in the back and the friggin' red friggin' cockpit area and the lighting on the wings. It's a very ugly unit. I do not like the gameplay mechanic behind it. I feel it was very lazily done because Warpath is known for the freedom of movement, freedom of control. Okay, and this unit, as a prototype in World War II, was designed to take out tank columns. It was designed to take out fortifications as well. However, this unit, with the lack of control, I can justify the speed of it. I can justify the health of it, but they really shit the shit on the friggin' unit because they also screwed the release of the ATG to bring out a lot of popularity to it, because that would be a prime unit to attack these. This would also be a good unit to help with the light tank situation. I feel that they should roll back this update, reprogram this, so that way it's not some old school RTS game and it's more functional towards the situation where the player has control.
We're gonna talk about more the gameplay aspect of those Skyfortress just in a few minutes, if you want.
Can.
Okay, we're gonna go in order here. These and for those who think that the actual Skyfortress looks ugly, keep in mind that is the most realistic design, as Lilith will come up with skins. You can bet on it. Skins that will be, of course, pay to win, and that will make the Skyfortress looks even more ridiculous. That's the content that we will see in, I don't know when, but it will be released. Mark my word. So I don't think that the Skyfortress will be rolled back. I've known Lilith for 2 years now. When they release something, they want to stick to it, unless we make enough noise that they abandon the project, but it will be most unlikely. Now, let's talk about the combat aspect. Everything that is wrong with it, and you go ahead and tell me what you think about that.
Well, as I said earlier in the video, the Warpath is known for freedom of control and freedom of movement of your units. This is like an old school RTS game that was which was always very boring and has very, if you're a seasoned RTS player, it has very seasoned nightmares in your brain about losing troops and everything. The combat is very simple. You point, you click on a target, it goes there, and it comes right back. Waste of alloy, you get damage in the meanwhile. The unit was meant in the historical aspect of attacking ground units. It was meant to be on the front line of attacking fortifications. This right here, I feel like they really underplayed the unit by giving a lack of control. This would be where it would be worth investing 500 alloy if you launched it and you had control of the unit. And when it died, then it came back. However, that's not a thing. And this would have been hugely impacted the use of Air Force, which a lot of people don't like using. It's very popular in the big tiers, such as Legendary 1, Legendary 2, establishing air superiority. But in the lower tiers, it's not a very big effect of using Air Force. So this would have brought a lot of use for the fighter planes. This would have actually boosted the morale towards the ATG that just got a rework, because now you can actually use that ATG for a very strong purpose against these Sky Fortresses. And it also would have helped give more versatility to the light tank as well. Granted, the light tank doesn't do a lot with AA mode, but it would have still helped. Quickly talking on the the unit aesthetic, they should have added a modern option as well, which could have been like the AC 130, and it could have acted like the AC 130, where it could have bombarded the ground troops in that area, and then you moved on to another area. It was just very frustrating overall. I really feel like, from a game design perspective, they did not really think about it. They just quickly threw it together and then released it.
I'm asking myself if Lilith actually played the game. Just not test the game, but if those game developers, if all the team is actually being part of an alliance and testing real world, and not only testing the unit like it behaves. It makes no sense to me. And a lot of players mention that it kills the gameplay, it kills the fun. As now it all boils down to you launch a Skyfortress against a Titan. Nobody can do anything about it. Those Titans and those Skyfortress, they're killing the gameplay. As like you mentioned, there's no interaction with them. There's no way to stop that rally except that when it reached destination to destroy the Titan. Now it's a matter of which alliance have the most alloy to throw in those units in order to fix it until they ran out of alloy, and now the alliance who run out of alloy is the one who gets defeated. That's basically it.
No, you're absolutely right. And I want to paint a perspective for you, all right? Because this was a conversation I had on my server that I told you about in global chat. And I asked for the opinion on the 8.0 update, and this was just earlier today. And they said they hated it, and I asked them, would this make it better? And I'm going to paint a picture for you so that way you can tell me which one you would prefer. Now, here's the first. You already got the perspective of the patch right now and how it is. Would you prefer this, or would you prefer you set up a rally with the system, 500 alloys paid? Now you have full control of your unit, and say you have in this situation an enemy rally that your alliance is having a really hard time taking out. Now you can use this Sky Fortress to engage them safely because your units are within the Sky Fortress, and actually help your alliance push and actually contribute.
Mm-hmm.
What way would you prefer, just being able to attack a base or attacking a Titan? I think 9 out of 10 players would say, hey, I would prefer being able to attack these units and being able to help my alliance.
Right, because the biggest, not a concern or problem is, but the biggest threat in that game is the amount of rallies, the amount of army groups. Those are this is the X factor that is difficult to counter, as it's a matter of who have the most amount of army groups that will win, and the only way to defeat those army groups is with a bigger army group. So if they would have something to counter that in a way, then it would help balance everything out, I think.
No, you're absolutely right. And if they added, like I said earlier, like the modern version, then I think a lot of players, including yourself, right, would deal with the ugly aesthetics as it is now, because then they got hopes of going to a modern stage of a super weapon.
I think that the game is slowly running away from the realism of those units. We're slowly transitioning to a sci-fi game, which I do not like. Don't forget that most of the players, they download the game for the visual aspect of it, for the time period, the correct time period of those units. Now we're going into a direction that we're losing that spirit, and I do not like it. And a lot of old players will probably quit the game because they don't agree the direction you're going to. All right, I understand there's some sort of progress or evolution, but it doesn't have to be that way. Okay, the look of those Skyfortress, for me, it's a no-go, and I'm pretty sure that nobody agree on it. So why do you keep asking our advice if you don't agree with us? That's my problem. I imagine the super weapons as something like ballistic missiles, hypersonic missiles, where to launch one you need teamwork, where everybody needs to follow a specific sequence and the final launch code must be activated, everybody must activate it at once. So you have teamwork involved. You have a lot of your players that needs to follow a certain procedure. That's how you build teamwork, not by just sending scout plane trying to fix something, and the one who will fix it the most is the one who has spent the most on alloy package. This is and this will forge the gap between the pay to win and free to play players. The strong alliance will be even stronger, and it's going to hurt the game, I'm afraid. So this is my thought about that. And yeah, they want to fix a few issues. That's a good direction, but I think that overall, nobody likes the update 8.0. I think it was a mistake, and they should have asked more feedback before powering through this update.
Talking about what they said they were going to fix, and I looked at it, and I have the mail up right now as I'm reading it. So pretty much they're going to change the invincibility of the Titans, and they're just going to grant a buff. That was not really an issue with the Titans because the Titans had a workaround. However, with that, so that was unnecessary, I feel. However, they do say that they're changing the attacks from Skyfortresses on bases, and that their bases are too quickly destroyed. They're fixing that, which that's an okay thing. And they're also increasing the resistance of the bases against Skyfortresses, so that's also somewhat of a good thing because now they'll do more damage to the Skyfortresses. They're supposedly limiting a pack that you could buy, which was ready to rally.
Yes.
So that way it will be less attainable. And I really just think that they are not addressing the bigger concern. I think they address some minor things, and that they should be focusing on the bigger issue, which is the gameplay issue.
Well, they're gonna try this way, and you friends, it's your voice count. I mean, me, FUBAR, all the content creator, we don't have a voice. You guys have a voice. If you do not like this update, express yourself. Go on the Warpath Facebook page and tell Lilith what you don't like about. Sometimes words count. You have a voice, so use it. If you don't say anything, nothing's gonna happen. If you say you hate it, if other subscribers say they don't like it, Lilith will listen to you. Okay? They don't listen to me. They don't listen to FUBAR. They listen to all the players. So the way to put pressure is to express that you do not like this update. Sure, Lilith will try to optimize it, make it better, but it will not fix it. And if we don't say anything, they will keep it as it is. So that's the way to express yourself. That's the way to express the way you feel about it. Okay?
No, I 100% agree with you on that. As long as the players are friggin' expressing themselves, they could do it in the comment section here. They could do it. They could do it in the Warpath Discord. They could do it on friggin' the Facebook page. As long as they're blowing it up, Wilf will pay attention.
Yeah.
Because, like you said, we have no voice.
Exactly. I cannot change anything by myself, and it's not by making a video about bitching the company. No. Tell what you don't like. I love the game. I support the game. I play the game every day, but I think that this is a mistake, and if Lilith really care about the players, they will make things right. Lilith listen to us most of the time, but they won't change anything if we don't complain. And there's a way to do it, right? So there you go.
there was one other thing I wanted to touch base on. DX7 had did a video covering the future of an R&D center, and within that, it was showing that you had to pull 50 pieces of a prototype to get the new skin of the Titan or a Skyfortress. What bothered me about that was that what it showed there was you had to pay 120,000 gold per 10. So if you do that math right there, you're spending right around 600,000 gold for a skin. That is ridiculous.
Yeah, it's too
And
much.
I mean, like, how many players do you know that walk around with 600,000 gold?
I do.
Well, no. I mean, on a
Well,
regular basis. I mean, on a
no,
regular.
I mean you have to be a pay-to-win player for sure, or
Yeah.
save your gold like crazy. But if you save your gold a lot because you're cheap like me, you're not gonna spend in on a Skyfortress skin. I don't think so. No chance I would spend on a ridiculous skin, unless it looks really cool, like realistic. But then again, it's against my uh, it's against my will. I can't do it. Not for that. There's better way to spend 600,000 gold.
I completely agree with you. I completely agree with you on that one.
That's all I have for you today, friends. I hope that you enjoyed the video. On behalf of FUBAR and myself, I wish you a great weekend, and I'll catch you on the next video. See ya!